Okay, I guess we can get started. Okay, good morning and good evening. Thank you for coming to this SPM paper session on filtering and denoising. I'm Xin Li from Louisiana State University. I'll host this session. In this session, we have 4 great papers. So I think for the audience to ask questions, you may wait until the end of the presentation to ask the question, or you may also type your questions in the chat channel. I will remind the presenters to check and answer it. So I will. So I think without further ado, let's get started. So the first paper is Deep Feature Preserving Normal Estimation for Point Cloud Filtering. The authors are Dening Lu, Xuequan Lu, Jun Wang, and Yang Xing Sun. Xuequan Lu will present the paper.
Okay, so thanks for Professor Li for the introduction. I will share the screen with you. Can you see the screen? Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. And this is Xuequan Lu, and I will present our work on deep feature preserving normal estimation and for point cloud filtering. So first of all, let's take a look at the background, some background. So with the first development of scanning technologies, point clouds can be easily obtained in nowadays. However, the data of point cloud, this type of data, is inevitably corrupted with noise. So which needs to be removed before the use of other applications. For example, the animation, further geometry processing, and rendering, and so on. So as we can see from this slide, there actually exist quite a few existing research for point cloud filtering, including normal estimation-based methods, position-based methods, and also recent learning-based methods. Nevertheless, traditional optimization-based methods, they usually require the careful tuning of multiple parameters, while none of these are existing, to our knowledge, none of the existing learning-based methods are designed for feature preserving normal estimation. So that's leading to undesired outcomes for point cloud filtering. Okay, so based on the above issues, we attempted to propose a novel learning method for feature preserving normal estimation and further for point cloud filtering. So second section is for our proposed approach. So in this figure, we can see our approach consists of a few steps. For training, we have 3 steps. Is for head map generation and classification, and also normal estimation. And for testing phase, we alternatively call the normal estimation and the point update iteratively for better point cloud filtering outcomes. So here is for the testing phase. Okay, so we iteratively call normal estimation and the position update. So we take a look at the algorithm pipeline. So in the first step is for data generation. So one important processing step is for head map generation. Okay, for head map generation. So usually for each point in the point cloud, we use the PCA information to project the neighboring points of each point, okay, to a local plan, so that it can have a two-dimensional patch, and we use the height map, the height value computation formula to calculate the height values, okay, for each local patch of each point, okay, in the point cloud. And the second task in the data generation is for classification labels, okay. For classification labels, we need to label the non-feature points and also feature points, just like here, non-feature points and the feature points. And we also need to define the normal labels for feature points, okay, for feature points. So it's we will elaborate this a bit later, okay. So these are three tasks in the data generation. So usually during the definition of normal labels for feature points, okay, or non-feature points or feature points, they are separately handled. Okay, so for non-feature points, it's actually simply select the ground truth normal of the nearest point in the ground truth. Okay, for the after superposition. Okay, for the noisy point cloud and also the ground truth point cloud. For the feature points, we need to define a multi-normal for the feature points. So in this work, we typically define two normals. Okay, define the two normals. One is a dominated normal, and the other is a secondary normal. So sometimes we found that we found some points they can be called the balance points. So which are what are the balance points? Usually for the feature points which have similar weights. Okay, the weights are defined in our paper. It's just like to determine it is dominant or secondary. Okay, it's simply two weights. Okay, for two normals. Okay, for the two normals. So if the two weights are similar, we believe they are balance points. Okay, we call them balance points. So these balance points are very ambiguous in training. So for training, we simply remove them. Okay, we can see from the figure here, if we have balance points, okay, it converges slowly. But if we remove the balance points, the training can converge fast, okay, in a faster way. So next step is for classification. So the reason for why we introduce the classification network, it is because we found the feature points, for example, sharp edge points or corner points. Okay, their proportion in the whole point cloud is very little. Okay, it's very little. So directly estimate normals for all of them. I mean, all of the points would not achieve desired outcomes. So therefore, we attempt to first have a classification for feature points and the non-feature points. Okay, so this is for the classification. That's why we use the classification. And for during the classification, we also introduce a weighted L2 loss instead of the traditional L2 loss. So which can gives a larger or greater weight to feature points, just like emphasize to feature points for better recognition. Okay, for better recognition. So we can see the traditional L2 loss here is worse than the weighted L2 loss. that we introduced. So here we also can see that without or with the classification really matters. Okay, really matters. So without the classification step, the estimated normals. Okay, the estimated normals here. So this is without the estimation classification step. The estimated normals are not good. Okay, so if we have the classification step, that is here, the results for the estimated normals. Okay, so we can see it is feature preserving. So here, okay, here are some results comparisons for the traditional L2 loss and also the weighted L2 loss that we introduced. Our next step is for normal estimation. Okay, it's for normal estimation. So after classification, we come to this step, and actually this step is one purpose of this work, normal estimation. So how do we do that? How do we achieve that? So specifically, we feed feature points and non-feature points into the normal estimation network. Okay, the normal estimation network. And we use the ResNet 18 as a backbone. Okay, and so by compared to the version of mixed training of feature points and non-feature points, we found that our separate training achieves much better results. Okay, achieves much better results. So here is the estimation result. So finally, is for the position update. Actually, this step only be used in the testing phase. Okay, only be used in the testing phase. Actually, as it is for the point cloud filtering. It's the ultimate purpose of this work. We employ this simple with this simple position update algorithm to match the points with the estimated normals. Okay, with the estimated normals. We use a few iterations for better filtering results. We can see here. So it's iteration 1, iteration 2, 3, and 2, 6. The results are improved obviously. Okay, so next section, we show some results and also some discussions. We actually conduct extensive experiments to test our approach. For the training, we have set the training site, okay, and also the test site. So here are some classification results. Some classification results. And here are some normal estimation results. Okay, normal estimation results. We compared our approach with state-of-the-art normal estimation methods. Okay, so here are some point cloud filtering results. We compared our method, the method together with a simple position update, they together to achieve the point cloud filtering outcomes. Okay, and we compare our results with the state of the art, for example, the learning-based ECNet, point CliNet, and also the recent traditional optimization based, for example, the GPF, CLOP. Okay. We can achieve better or competitive results, especially in terms of preserving sharp features. So here's the point cloud filtering results of some other models. Okay, we also compare the point cloud filtering results based on the normal estimation. For example, PCA bilateral filtering Hawk and the NestNet. These methods, they are all normal estimation methods. Okay, and we use the same position update algorithm and also the same parameter to achieve point cloud filtering results. Okay, and then we compare with them. Additionally, we also compare the quantitative results, okay, with the existing methods. So in general, we use the classification. The true feature points is accuracy, and also for normal error is we use the mean square angular error is MSAE, and also for filtering is positional accuracy. We use the root mean square error RMSE and also chamfer and also chamfer distance. Okay, so here are some results for the RMSE for different point cloud filtering results for the to calculate the positional error. And here are some results for MSAE and also chamfer distance for the test models in the test set, and also the classification accuracy here. Okay. So finally, we also discussed the robustness of our method to density variation. Okay, so in here, in this example here, we compared our method with point clinite. Okay, so from this figure, we can see that, and also this figure, we can see that usually both methods can obtain better results for the dense point clouds. For example, the 50K and also 100K. Compared to the less dense data, for example here, okay, the 10K points. But our method generates consistently better results than point clinite, okay, for all densities, for all the densities. So which means our method is more robust. It's a bit more robust to density variations. Okay, so in conclusion, we have proposed a novel method for feature preserving normal estimation and also for further point cloud filtering. For the future work, we found the exceptionally severe noise and also the significant outliers are very difficult to address. So we would like to do a bit more work on these two issues. Okay, thanks for your attention. Any questions?
Okay, any questions from the audience? You can type or you can, okay, so there's one question. Shichen, will you be able to see the question on the chat room?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, can the algorithm handle low density models? How many points are there? Okay, so this is a very good point. So currently, our method can handle very sparse point clouds. For example, if it is 1,000, it is probably can produce some artifacts. I mean, some undesired results. But for 2,000 or more, I mean, for one point cloud with 2,000 or more points, our method is good at it. Okay. And for the training, I need to mention that for the training, we have a mixed number of points in each point cloud. So we cover different levels of density, okay, for training. So we can, our trainer models and our method is able to handle different types, different levels of densities, okay. So the second question is that, how does your method handle outliers? Okay, so this is a good question. I didn't mention it here, but we included the discussion in our paper. So briefly, our paper cannot handle significant outliers. For example, for the compared to the polyclinite. Okay, but we can also handle the moderate, okay, small or moderate level outliers. Okay, so we simply assume the outliers are noise, and we do not distinguish them. Okay. Is your software available? Okay, this is a good question, and we are currently working on it. Okay. From Professor Charlie Wang, how about missing regions when scanning the highly reflective surfaces? Okay, so this is a very good point, because this is very, I think currently for the missing regions, it is very hard to and challenging to address. Currently, our method cannot address this limitation because it's not for whole filling, okay, for missing regions, okay, and we would like to do a bit more work to integrate different techniques, together to handle a series of problems, okay, connected problems. I mean, for example, the missing regions and the denoising, outlier removal, something like that. Thanks.
Okay. So if there's no more question, okay, we thank the speaker. And the next paper is normal FNet, normal filtering neural network for feature preserving mesh denoising. The authors are Zhiqi Li, Yinghui Zhang, Yidan Feng, Xingyu Xie, Jun Wang, Qiong Wang, Mingchang Wei, and Feng An Heng. Zhiqi is going to present the paper. Okay. Please unmute yourself. Okay.
Hello, everyone. This is Zhiqi. I'm an undergraduate student from
I think we cannot hear you clearly. Can you check your signal?
Can you hear me?
It's not very smooth. Yeah, maybe you can go ahead and say a few more words. Let's see. So if the signal is not good, maybe another way is if you can connect through cell phone or something, and you have two, like you can log in through two accounts, one by on this computer to show this, and the other one you can just talk. I don't know whether that'll help or not, because we cannot hear you clearly. Can you try that? No, no, it's not. So yeah. Yes, do you have an, for example, can you, for example, use another machine or a cell phone to connect? And let's see whether that helps. Okay. I think we can hear you better now. Do you want to try it? Just go.
Can you see?
Yeah, I think. Maybe, yeah, maybe you can try start presenting. Let's see. So yeah, let's give the speaker a few more minutes. And at the meantime, if she needs some more time to figure it out, maybe the next speaker can be prepared. I see the next speaker is here.
Present my paper.
I think we cannot hear you. So how about you can you try testing it a little bit more, and then so we can let the next speaker present first, and so after his presentation we will see whether whether you have fixed your problem. Okay. So I see the next speaker is here. Are you available? Are you ready to present?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, good, good. Then let me maybe let me set you as a co-host. Okay, okay. So Zhiqi, can you stop sharing? And then so we will let the next speaker present first, and then you can come back. Okay, great, thanks. Okay, so the next paper, next paper is a feature preserving framework for point cloud denoising. The authors are Zheng Liu, Xiaowen Xiao, Weinan Wang, Saishang Zhong, Yanner Li, and Zhong Xie. Zheng Liu will present the paper. Okay.
Okay. Let's begin. Hello, everyone. As introduced, our paper is about point cloud denoising in a feature preserving manner. Yes, this is our work. Firstly, we give a brief introduction about the problem of point cloud denoising. Nowadays, 3D scanning is becoming more and more a commonplace due to the rapid development of scanning devices. However, even with high fidelity devices, the corruption of scanner data is usually inevitable. Thus, noise can.
Hi, John. I think you share the wrong screen. You want to share the other screen, not this one.
I only need to show this screen.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, we're seeing your screen, but okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Nowadays, this noise can not only degrade the visual quality of the reconstructed mesh, but also cause errors in the further geometry processing. Hence, point cloud denoising is a fundamental but important problem in computer graphics. Challenge. Due to both feature and noise are of high frequency signals, we cannot distinguish features from noise clearly. Then it's a challenge to do these things: suppress noise, preserve geometry features, prevent nature effects. Over the years, state-of-the-arts have been proposed for recovering noise-free point clouds. In some extent, these methods do a good job of recovering high-quality point clouds. We categorize the related works into 4 types. Moving least square-based method. These methods are less able to preserve sharp features well. AOP-based method. This method usually cannot produce satisfactory denoising results when the noise increased. Sparsity-inspired method. This method suffer from the undesired stepcase effects in smoothly curved regions and the data-driven method. These methods are highly dependent on the completeness of the training data set. Yes. To overcome the limitations of the previous methods, we propose a novel feature-preserving framework to recover point normals as well as positions. The proposed framework has the 3 contributions as following. In our paper, we have 3 contributions. The first is we propose a second-order regularization method for restoring point normal field. The second is we design a B-tensor voting scheme for detecting features on noise input. At last, we introduce a ransack-based algorithm for multi-norm estimation. The framework. The framework consists of 3 cascaded stages: normal filtering, feature detection, and multi-norm point updating. In the first stage, we present an isotropic second-order variational method to restore the normal field from the noise input. Based on the field normals, we introduce a B-tensor voting scheme to detect features. In the following multi-norm point updating stage, we estimate the multi-norms per feature point using a ransack-based method. Then we update the point positions according to the normals at non-feature points produced by second-order normal filtering, and the rows at feature points estimated by the Ransack-based algorithm. To introduce our normal filtering method, we define the second-order operator on point cross. We first introduce auxiliary geometry elements to construct local connectivity for each point. First, we sort the KNNs of the point Pi. Then we construct auxiliary geometry elements. This is the edge and this is the midline. The midline is that we can construct a midline connecting current point Pi and the middle point of two neighbors. Assume U is a signal or a function defined on points. We defined the first order operator D1 on the edges. And the formulation of D1 can be written as Ui minus Uj. With the first order operator, we can further define the second order operator. The second order of operator is calculated in an isotropic manner, and the second order operator is defined on the midline, this red midline, yes. This is the one first order minus another one first order defined on this edge and this edge, and the second order is defined on the midline, L. Okay, this is the definition of the second order operator. Then we propose a variational normal filtering model based on the second order operator. This is the regularization term, is L1 norm, the based term. And this is the fidelity term and is L2 norm term. Yes, this model consists of two terms. To minimize the proposed point normal filtering model, we adopt the augmented Lagrange method and variable splitting. In practice, we first introduce the auxiliary variable x, and then iteratively solve the n subproblem and the x subproblem. After obtaining filter point norms, we also design a B-tensor voting scheme to detect features on noise inputs. As we know, tensor voting is a tool for effectively detecting features on surface. However, the tensor voting is sensitive to noise, as we can see. If we directly perform tensor voting on the noise vertex, many residual features would appear in the result in the smooth regions. On the other hand, if we perform tensor voting on the filter norms, it tends to detect redundant points around underlying features, these redundant features. In contrast, the proposed scheme is robust against noise, while it has advantages in locating underlying features accurately. With the filter norms, we constructed norm and point tensor voting simultaneously for the voting analysis. This is the construction of the normal voting tensor, and this is the point voting tensors. The two tensors can be diagonalized by eigenvalues and represent in terms of their spectral components, like this and this. Okay, let's see an example. Here we show eigenvalues of the normal voting tensors in A and the in B, and the point tensor voting eigenvalues in A. We can see 4 points. PA lies at the corner, and P2 and P3 lies at the surface, and the P4 lies at sharp edges. And this is the eigenvalues of these 4 points. In this page, a B-tensor voting vote scheme is proposed, which combines the advantage of the norm and the point tensor voting. Specifically, to define whether a point is a feature or not, we propose a measure, RF. This is the formulation of RF. Moreover, in order to further identify corners, we propose a measure RC. This is the definition of RC. As we can see, the point P1 and P4 lies on features, so the values of RF of these 2 points are larger than rows not lie on features. For example, P2 and P3. And the values of measure RC of the point P1 lies on corner is larger than rows not lying on corner P2, P3, P4. To further illustrate the efficiency of the proposed B-tensor voting scheme, we compare it with the scheme proposed by Zhang et al. As we can see, the method proposed by Zhang et al. Produced some residual features on the smooth regions, and has redundant features around the underlying sharp features. In contrast, our B-tensor voting scheme gives more satisfactory result. It greatly reduced the residual features in smooth regions and at the same time locates the detector features more accurately. After obtaining field point normals, it is necessary to reposition points to match the field norms. Because the norms at feature points are ambiguous and identifiable, it is necessary to adopt multi-normal point updating. This is the questions or the problems of the single norm-based point updating. So we adopted the multi-norm point updating strategy. Okay. Our ransack-based multi-norm estimation consists of 5 steps: selecting, building, grouping, generating, and excluding. In the selecting step, we randomly select 3 non-feature points with similar norms. In practice, we pick 1 non-feature point at random and select the other 2 together to form a triangle X as large as possible, like this. In the building step, we build the plane A from X, which can be regarded as an underlying surface nearing the feature point PI. And in the grouping step, we group points belonging to the plane A. Here, we use Yij to denote the points belonging to the plane A. In the generating step, we directly generate a normal vector by averaging all the norms at a set Yij. In the excluding step, excluding points from non-feature points. If the number of the left points is larger than 4, the iteration process goes to the selecting step. Otherwise, the above process terminates and retains the multi-norms at PI. So this is our algorithm. Then this is the multi-norms are estimated. To further test our multi-norm estimation, we perform it on a series of point graphs with different shapes. It is clear to see that our multi-norm estimation can accurately produce multi-norms at almost each feature point. With the field norms at non-feature points and the estimated multi-norms at feature points, we updated the point position to match these normals. According to the multi-norm strategy, We reposition points by solving the following minimization problem. And by using gradient descent to solve the minimization problem, we update the point position by this formulation. First of all, to evaluate the performance of the test method, we utilize this configuration items. And this is the abbreviation for the compared method, RIMS, MRPCA, year and air 0. Please. Okay. This page demonstrates comparisons of a point cloud containing both sharp features and smoothly curved regions. As we can see, all the test methods are able to remove noise. Furthermore, LMS recovers smooth regions well, but over smooth sharp features. MRPCA and ear not only blur sharp features to some extent, but generate staircase in the smooth region. Due to the sparsity property, both L0 and our method preserve sharp features well. However, due to its high sparsity requirement, L0 flattens some smooth regions and produce false edges in these regions. In contrast, our method can preserve sharp features and simultaneously recover smooth transition regions well. Okay, let's see more examples. This page shows results on a point cloud containing only flat regions and sharp features. Yes, as we can see, A0 and our method can effectively remove noise while preserving sharp features well. Okay, this is a next example about the point cloud with rich details. As we can see, RIMAS and our methods both produce the visually satisfactory results. To further testify the validity of our method, we tested on the laser scanner point cloud. This is another example about the connector scanning data. And we also verified the effectiveness of our method on irregular sapling data. Oh, sorry. This page shows the robustness of our method against different levels of noise. Here, we further quantitatively compare our method to others. We utilize the metric d-mean to evaluate position errors and the metric a-mean to evaluate normal errors. And this is the result. As we can see, the denoising results produced by our method in this have the least d-mean errors in all the cases. And have the least a-mean errors in most cases. This is the. We also record the CPU costs for all the test methods, and this curve is our CPU cost curve. Okay, it's time to make a conclusion about our paper and propose the future. In this paper, we propose a feature-preserving framework to recover noise-free point clouds, which has the following three contributions: a second-order regularization, a well-defined B-tensor voting scheme, and a multi-norm strategy. to estimate the maximum at feature points. The future work is that experiment results shows that our denoising method outperforms the state-of-the-art, and our work can extend to deal with problems such as point cloud segmentation, surface reconstruction, and urban architecture modeling. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay, any questions from the audience?
I can't see any questions. Okay, I can see.
Okay, so in the interest of time, okay, yeah, so if there's no question, so the second presenter, do you want to quickly try talk a
Okay,
few
okay,
to see?
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, we may let you present the next paper
okay.
after this, yeah, but yeah, the second presenter, do you want to quickly test your voice?
Yes.
It's the previous one.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I think it sounds good. Okay, so I know the next paper is sort of related to the previous one. So how about that the Zheng Liu present the next paper, and then Zhiqi, you can do your presentation. Would that be fine?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So let me introduce it. Okay, so yeah, this paper is mesh denoising by via a normal Manfred Shah framework. The authors are Zheng Liu, Weinan Wang, Saishang Zhong, Bohong Zheng, Jinqi Liu, and Weiming Wang. So Zheng Liu again will present this paper. Okay, please start.
Okay. So today I will introduce our next work, mesh denoising via a novel Manfred framework. So we first give a brief review of the Manfred functional at this equation. The first term smooths the signal U except on the discontinuous set K. The second term minimizes the length of the discontinuous set K, and the last term helps the solution to harmonize well with the input F. Due to the coupling of the function U and the length set K, it is challenging to minimize the Manfred functional. Yes, because it has geometry elements K. Using the gamma convergency theory, Manfred functional can be approximated by AT approximation. V is an introduced auxiliary variable. It can be used to instead of the discontinuous set K. More specifically, V is closely to 0 on the discontinuities and 1 otherwise. Thus, the values of V range between 0 and 1, and it can be interpreted as the probability for the presence of the discontinuity. Yes, we use V, a function, to instead of the variable K, the length set. Yes, this is the most important, to introduce the auxiliary variables. Then another approximation of Manfred functional is the MSTV approximation, Manfred tutorization approximation. It's a modified version of the AT approximation, but replacing the quadratic term of the gradient of U by a tutorization term. And this is the Victoria AT and the Manfred TV approximation. Okay, sorry. Recently, the Manfred model is attracted greater interested in geometry processing. Tong and Tai discretized AT approximation via linear finite elements method. Their discretization computes the the norms vertex and the discontinuity functions vertex by vertex. However, vertex normals are averaged from face norms, and the calculation is complex and time-consuming. Last but not least, an extra post-processing is needed to connect located discontinuity vertex to form feature curves. Tong and Tai's method is vertex by vertex to calculate the normal field and the discontinuity function. Bonnier et al. Discretized AT approximation via discrete exterior calculus. Their discretization adopts a smoothing strategy for the discontinuity function. They average the discontinuity values defined on edges onto adjacent vertex and assigning the average value onto the edge connecting these 2 points. Their smoothing strategy tends to blend the discontinuity function inevitably. Again, a post-processing is needed to form feature curves. Compared to the existing discretizations, our discretization to calculate the discontinuity function in a completely different manner, which overcomes the limitation of existing techniques. Yes. Our framework directly diffuse the discontinuity function on edges and overcome these limitations of the existing method. As our discretization calculates the discontinuity function at edge directly, it can produce better denoise results and make located discontinuity edges more exactly distribute on geometry features of the underlying surface. Besides, our method can directly extract the feature curves from located discontinuity edges, where the old method cannot. They only obtained the feature points, and it needs another step to connect this point to form feature curves. And our discretization has simple formula and higher efficiency in practice. This is the time of our method. This is the time of the other 2. And this is the feature, and this is the discontinuity function result, and this is the result of the other 2. Given a triangular mesh M, we first define 2 basic function space. The space U is a set whose elements are the values at the face, which is also called the piecewise constant function space. And the space V is a set whose elements are the values at V edges. We also call the space V as the edge function space. And then we equip the space U and the V with the inner product and the norm. Yes, this is the inner product, this is norm. Then the differential operators, gradient, divergence, and Laplace on M are defined by using first order finite difference. Then we give the definition of operators on edge function space E. So let L be a line connecting the barycenter and one vertex of the triangle tau. As we can see, we defined the gradient on edges and the gradient of the gradient, yes, the jump of V over a line is defined as this. We define this operator on a line connecting one vertex and the barycenter. Yes, the signal defined on edges. We can define the gradient of the signal on this blue line. The W space is equipped with the inner product and norm as following. Okay. Then we define differential operators in edge function space in 10. This is the gradient operator defined in the edge function space. This is the divergence operator defined in this space. And this is the Laplace operator in the edge space. Yes, this is the Laplace operator. This is the gradient operator defined in edge space. Given a noise mesh, we assume V to be a function to represent the discontinuity of the phase norms. To remove noise through Victoria AT approximation, we propose the variational model in this page. This is the AT normal filtering model. V can be seen as a discontinuity function described the phase norms, the discontinuity of the phase norms, yes. As we can see, N defined on phase and V defined on mesh edges. The minimization problem can be split into subproblems with respect to the variable N and V. Yes, thus AT normal filtering model is solved by alternatively minimizing the two subproblems in this page, the N problem and the V problem. The normal filtering model based on the Victoria-Marfashad-TV approximation is proposed in this page. This model can be solved by augmented Lagrange method as following. The prior variables update procedure can be separated into three subproblems: the N subproblem, the V subproblem, and the P subproblem. This page shows comparisons of AT and Marfashad-TV against increasing noise. As can be seen, when the noise level is moderate, both AT and Marfashad-TV can effectively remove noise and simultaneously preserve sharp features well. Since Marfashad-TV used L1 norm, it tends to produce step case over smoothly curved regions. In contrast, AT produced better results in smooth regions. However, when the noise level increased, Marfashad-TV produced better results than rows of AT. In summary, Marfashad-TV is more robust against the noise and can produce cleaner, sharp features, but enforce the denoising results toward the piecewise constant limited due to its L1 constraint. Although AT favors piecewise smooth solutions, it blends sharp features in some extent and leaves some bubbles on the smooth surface when the noise level is high. We compare the result for CAD mesh containing sharp features and the smooth curve regions. This is the result of our method AT and Marfashad-TV. This is the abbreviation of our compared method. This figure shows that AT outperforms the other method for the surface with piecewise smooth priors. This is the result of our method AT. In contrast, TV A0 and Mafusha TV suffer from the step-case effects in varying degrees. We also note that compared to TV, our method Mafusha TV has less step case in the smooth regions and can produce more faithful feature preserving results. We also show results for mesh containing flat regions and sharp features, as can be seen. Our method Mafusha TV leads to results be more faithful to the underlying surface with piecewise constant prior. The L0 produce some false edges and regions, and the others have some wavy features like this, okay. And bilateral normal filtering tends to blend sharp features. We also gives comparison on non-CD meshes with different level of features. Thanks to the discontinuity function of our method AT can preserve geometry features at various sizes, while bilateral normal filtering may lose some finer details. Yes. We also show some results of data captured by connector sensors. We use mean square angle error, abbreviated as MSAE, to measure the phase norm errors. As can be seen, both our method AT and Mafusha TV consistently outperform the compared methods in terms of MSAE values. Yes, this is the result of ours. And we use L2 vertex-based surface-to-surface error, abbreviated as EV2, to measure the vertex deviation of the underlying clear surface. In most cases, one of our methods has the least errors in the sense of EV2. Yes? In this paper, a novel numeric framework to discretize Mafusha-based functionals over meshes. By using the framework, two Mafusha-based regularization models are introduced for mesh denoising. Key idea: two coupled function space and associated operators are given out over meshes. This is the first work to describe the edge function space and its operators for directly diffusing the function over edges. So some future works are left open. The proposed Mafusha framework can be extended to more applications over triangulated surface, such as feature detection, segmentation, completion. Moreover, it would be interesting and challenging to extend this work on point clouds. Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the audience? Maybe I can start with one. So can you discuss, is this approach sensitive to the triangulation quality? Like say skinny triangle or non-uniform triangulation?
Pardon?
So like say, suppose you have a triangular mesh and some triangles are skinny, very big angles, very small angles.
Yes, yes. We can do our algorithm is insensitive to the suppling of the triangular surface. Yes. Any questions?
Okay, so if no, one more. You mentioned generalizing this to point cloud. Can you comment a little bit about that? So you define things on edges. How do you do this?
How to extend our method to point cloud is our future work, and I think the connectivity of the point cloud is difficult to design. So so this is our future work.
Okay. If there's no other question, okay. Thank you, Zheng. So
Okay, thank you,
okay.
everyone.
Mhm.
Thank
So
you.
now that's, yeah, we can move to the previous one. Zhiqi, if you are ready, then you can start. Share your screen. So this is the second paper, normal FNet.
Okay. Ready for the
I hear some echoes. Yeah, if you have two devices, maybe you can mute one of them.
Okay, I will use another PC.
Okay. Okay, you can go ahead and start.
Hello everyone. This is Zhiqi. I'm an undergraduate student from Nanjing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics. I feel very honored to present our paper titled Normal FNet, Normal Filtering Neural Network for Feature Preserving Mesh Denoising. This is a joint work with Yinghui, Yidan, Xingyu, Professor Chong Wang, and my advisor, Professor Mingqiang Wei, Professor Peng Nanhen. Recently, we observed that there are many emerging applications have been here that require perception of 3D models, such as reverse engineering, biomedical engineering, and cultural heritage preservation, and so on. All of these applications require interactions of 3D objects. However, different from 2D image that has a dominant representation as 2D pixel arrays, 3D has various representations. It can be represented by, for example, point cloud, polygonal meshes, and volumetric, and so on. In this work, we deal with denoising and feature preserving of surface approximated by triangular meshes. Strides in the acquisition of 3D geometry and now through low and high-end scanners are now making geometry available in a much broader way. However, this device generates abundant noise data that hinder the subsequent geometry processing tasks, especially for those with rich geometric features. The key to success of mesh denoising is to remove noise while preserving surface features as accurately as possible. There are rich works on these topics, such as filter-based method, optimization-based method, and deep learning-based method. Currently, some learning-based methods often involve complicated voxelization or projection operations. Before the rise of CNNs in mesh denoising, geometry domain knowledge has been exploited in mesh filters. For example, there exist many sharp features on the surface of the mesh model. The blue dots in the right picture means sharp edges, and the red means corners. We can regard this sparseness of surface sharp features as the geometry domain knowledge. Due to the irregular structure of Sorry, I will change another presentation and I will stop the share. Okay, let's continue. Due to the irregular structure of triangular meshes, it's difficult to integrate this knowledge directly into CNNs. These challenging issues motivate us to design a dual convolutional neural network for feature-preserving mesh denoising. Non-local similarity has been validated on 2D image and surface with following steps. We argue that similar patches with similar intrinsic properties also exist on 3D surface meshes. So we make effort to find similar structures and group them together to form a non-local patch group normal matrix. This matrix should be low rank, but currently possess a high rank because of noise, inspired from the non-local similarity, non-local low rank recovery. We mimic the low rank recovery process to eliminate the noise on the mesh surface in our network architecture. Firstly, we search similar patches around given facet through normal tensor voting. The formulation is a symmetric positive semi-definite term, which can be decomposed as a second term. We then use L2 norm to calculate the similarity between different patches in detail. Each patch P around the facet can be reshaped as a patch vector, which forms a column of the matrix. Using the facet normal as its elements from a seed facet to find other facets with a ring by ring scheme. Follow this scheme, the remaining patches with most similar geometry can be grouped together. We empirically set the size of the matrix to patches size to 16 and find 16 similar patches from 8 ring neighbors of a reference facet. To make the facet normals be invariant to rotation, we introduce a rotation matrix, which consists of the engine vectors come from the formulation of tensor voting. We multiply each facet normal with a reverse matrix. We also enlarge the size of NPNM. From the visual and numerical difference, we can see that the difference between the patch size of 16 by 16 and the 32 by 32 are very slight. But this adjustment affords a higher computational cost. Hence, we set the resolution of NPNM to 16 by 16 in our all experiments. We first developed a subnetwork. For denoising by learning a mapping from noisy NPNMs to their ground truth normal, to the ground truth low rank counterparts, and then develop another for normal refinement. Here we introduce how the two cascaded subnetworks work. The denoising subnetwork accepts the noisy NPNMs and outputs the recovered NPNM. Due to the matrix-to-matrix regression require precise pixel level predictions, we apply multiple contracting blocks and expanding blocks, which allow the network to aggregate features from multiple dimensions. However, part of the meshes may suffer from oversmoothing when learning the denoised low-rank matrix in the denoising network. To alleviate this problem, we propose a refinement subnetwork. In detail, we adopt 3 residual blocks and 3 fully connected layers. The residual blocks can extract features, and the fully connected layers linearly transform high-dimensional features into the feature space of the normal vectors. Here is the detailed information of the contracting block, expanding block, and the residual block. Normal FNet consists of 2 cascaded subnetworks with a comprehensive loss function, which cooperate to denoise and preserve surface features. The first term in the green box is the loss function of the denoising subnetwork, and the second one is loss function of the refinement subnetwork. Alpha is a trade-off weight to balance both terms. We follow the classical iterative vertex updating scheme, where the noise mesh vertices are updated to match the set of new normals based on previously obtained phase normals from the network. To verify the competitive effect of normal FNet, we have evaluated our method by comparing it with state-of-the-art methods, such as the one-step method, bilateral mesh denoising, and optimization-based method, filter-based method, bilateral normal filtering, and guided normal filtering, low-rank-based method, PC filter, and the learning-based method, NormalNet, CNR. As the first row shows, Chinese lion is a feature-rich model with varieties of repetitive details, sharp features, as well as smooth errors. Compared with other methods, normal FNet recovers small structures and introduces no additional artifacts on these multi-scale features. In contrast, the filter-based methods and optimization-based methods either over-sharpen or over-smooth them. The second and the third row shows the denoise results of CAD models. Our normal FNet can preserve the characters gray lock more clearly on the surface than other methods. More examples can be found on Gandhi High and Arrows model. In the Gandhi High model, we can see that our method preserves the detail of the beard more clearly. As for Arrows model, compared with other methods, normal FNet can better preserve the features on the eyes and the ring textures on the base. Apart from the synthetic data set, we also show our method on the real scans. See particularly the pyramid model. Our method consistently leads to better results of returning surface smoothness on the surface features, while others may over-sharpen the features or have more bumps on the smooth regions. This is a denoised result of the David and the Boy model. Here is quantitative comparisons in terms of average angle difference and Hausdorff distance, which also show that our denoised results are more faithful to the ground truth. We perform an ablation study to demonstrate the effectiveness of the denoising and the normal refinement architecture of normal FNet. The whole algorithm can be decomposed as S1 and S2. Table 1 shows the average angle difference of the 3 schemes, from which we can see that normal FNet is more effective than the 2 decomposed schemes. As mentioned before, we search similar patches from 8 ring neighbors of a facet to construct the NPNM. Consequently, our normal FNet affords a higher time cost in the offline stage. We will consider accelerating this process in parallel with GPU and octave space partition in the future. By now, few methods can serve as mesh denoising panacea. They generate results with a trade-off between noise removal and feature preservation. We propose a novel normal filtering neural network, which the first subnetwork is responsible for denoising, and the second subnetwork refines normals for better feature preservation. Our research makes the following three main contributions. Firstly, the runtime denoising stage of our method is completely automatic. Second, some learning-based methods afford expensive cores to convert the irregular structures into structural formats for feeding into CNNs. Our method, where we construct the matrix that has regularly encoded the local patch geometry for feeding into the neural network, can avoid such voxelization or projection operations. Finally, we bridge the connection between CNNs and the geometry domain knowledge of non-local similarity. We believe that other learning-based geometric processing tasks may benefit from our well-formatted NPNMs. Our code has been released on the website. Thank you very much for listening. And any question?
Okay, thank you for the nice talk. Any question from the audience? Maybe I will start with one. Can you talk about your training and testing data sets? How big are they, and are they having the same resolution, and do they have the same set patch sizes?
Our dataset are mainly from the dataset of the paper cascading normal regression, and we set all the resolution of NPNMs as 16 by 16, which we find has a better performance on the denoise results.
So this 16 is related to, so like for example, some models in your data sets may have a higher resolution and some have a smaller resolution. That means that like these patches may have different covered region, right? Covering region. Does that affect your training? Right.
Okay, I see. In our training stage, the NPN construction of the matrix is conducted on the offline stage. So we set the resolution to the same size because it can be well formatted into the current network architecture. And we also test the other size such as 62 by 62, 32 by 32. And we find that the difference between them are very slight. So the size of NPNM set to 16 by 16, and this will save our computational cost.
So when you say 32 by 32, that means basically you are considering a larger similar patches, and you are trying to learn the reconstruction or the denoising on that kind of patches, right? Can you comment a little bit why like the size doesn't matter? Like, yes, it seems that if you're using a bigger patches, that learning is harder, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but the result, you said the results are similar.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. By the way, so did you, by the way, how many models did you use to train? How big is the data set?
For the synthetic data, there are 63 models in all. And for the real world data, there are 17. Because the real world data are very relatively small, so we use about 30 models in all. And there are 7 million faces in all to training the network.
I see. Okay. So that's not a very big data set, but that's sufficient to train. I guess because you have a lot of patches cut from those models. Have you considered using larger data sets, like 3D shape,
Yes,
like
we
CAD model
don't
data sets?
expand the data set, but we use existing data set. So
for fair comparison.
our code has been released on the GitHub, and please see the links in this page.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I think there's a question on the chat. Oh, okay. The question is, yeah, is the data set publicly available? So, you share this. This is codes. So I guess there's a question on whether the data sets are available.
So you're asking about our data sets?
Right. I think the question on, if you can see the chat room, there's a chat panel. There's a question on, is the data set publicly available?
Oh, our data sets are from the existing data sets of the Wang Pongshuai, and their paper mesh denoising while cascading normal regression. Please see the work on cascading normal regression.
Okay. So I guess, So I guess you will be able to find that information from your paper, right? The data set information to the original paper. Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think this is everything, and this this can